Developing today. Royal sources admit that King Charles is dying, but insist that he will not abdicate, and that the monarch intends to follow the lead of his late mother and serve until the last moment of his life. That said, there is a growing acknowledgement that amid the king's cancer battle, amid his worsening health, which has been very apparent as we've seen him this week, power is slowly moving to the heir, as Prince William has, in some ways, now more influence over the future shape of the British royal family, and that absolutely relates to the role, specifically, of Prince Andrew, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle. Now, Lee Cohen is a foreign policy expert and a royal commentator for The Spectator, The Daily Telegraph, and Fox News. When Ben on Wire reported this week that there are rumours circulating that King Charles's health is much worse than what we've been led to believe, and the question was posed, should the king pass the reins to Prince William sooner rather than later? He wrote, British monarchs, unless they are pathetic like the Duke of Windsor, don't quit. It's very un-British. Unless incapacitated, he must carry on to the end. And Lee Cohen joins me now. Now, Lee, the British mainstream media are not going there in terms of Charles's health. That is a decision they have made. I believe that it is historically important, and given his constitutional role and given the life and death of kings and queens is part of the Shakespearean tale of the monarchy, that it is important to talk about, albeit I obviously am not revealing the specific details of what type of cancer Charles has and the type of treatment he's going through. But I think from a historical context, what we have to look at, Lee, is that the power is very, very quickly shifting to Prince William. However, I am told categorically that Charles has no intention of abdicating, that he absolutely believes that what his mother did was right, and that was serve until the very end. I mean, remember, just 2 days before her death, she was there to greet the new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. Is that your understanding, Lee? And is it the right decision? Or are you in the camp of this growing group of modernizers who say that the best thing for the British royal family would be for Charles to formally hand the throne to his eldest son?
No, Dan, I'm not in that camp. I'm in the same camp as you. It's very important that the king, it's so cruel because this has been a very short reign, and it followed on a reign that was really hard to step into. Queen Elizabeth, the beloved late monarch, who had a 70-year reign that really marked an era. But historically, British monarchs don't abdicate. Edward VII died in, I don't want to say in office, but, during his reign. George V died during his reign. George VI, all of those after protracted illnesses, not sort of slow motion illnesses that people were able to witness a decline of health. And that's what's very distressing with King Charles, is that, with social media, we see day to day how he looks. People pronounce that he's looking awful. And that tears at my heart, Dan. It really does, because I see a man who's very dedicated to his role, which his reign, as we just said, is going to be one of the shortest ever. And it absolutely guts me. But I believe that the king took a solemn oath the same way that his mother did, and that he's inspired to serve. And she said on her 25th birthday, her whole reign, whether it be long or short. And, happily her reign was long, and sadly it looks that his reign will be short.
Let's be honest. Pretending this isn't happening doesn't make it go away. The British media's silence on King Charles's condition isn't caution, it's denial. And in today's world, denial doesn't work. You can't hide truth in the age of smartphones, social media, and live-streamed reality. People can see the change. They can see how the king moves slower now, how his face looks more tired, how his public appearances are shorter. It's right there, in front of millions of eyes. And here's the thing, this level of visibility is brand new for the monarchy. In the past, illness, scandal, even personal heartbreak could be buried behind palace walls. When Queen Elizabeth or Prince Philip faced health struggles, the public never knew. The British press held a kind of unspoken agreement. Protect the throne, protect the illusion. But those days are gone. When King Charles revealed that he was undergoing prostate treatment, it was meant as transparency, a modern gesture. Yet, that honesty opened a floodgate. Now, every public sighting, every photograph, every cancelled event turns into a headline or a rumor. And people are asking, if the king is truly this unwell, who's really running the monarchy? The answer, quietly, is Prince William. The shift of power has already begun, not officially, not with a crown or ceremony, but behind closed doors, in meetings, briefings, and royal decisions. William isn't just the heir anymore, he's becoming the acting heart of the royal machine. Insiders say major calls, especially around the future of Prince Andrew, Harry, and Meghan, are now heavily influenced by William. The future king is shaping the monarchy in his image long before the throne becomes his. And that brings us to a question that no one in Britain wants to ask out loud. What happens when the king can continue? History tells us British monarchs almost never abdicate. They serve until the end. It's a sacred tradition. The crown isn't a job you quit, it's a duty you die with. King Charles believes that deeply. He watched his mother work until her final breath, greeting a new prime minister just 2 days before she passed. That's the model he's determined to follow. But this time the world is different. The cameras are closer, the whispers are louder, and the institution feels more fragile than ever. Now, royal insiders are quietly admitting what the public has already guessed: the king's illness is serious. He's undergoing treatment, managing exhaustion, and limiting his workload, but he refuses to step back. Those who've seen him up close say he's driven by one powerful thought: duty until death. He still reads his red government boxes every morning, still signs documents, still appears when he can, even when the fatigue is clear. Exhausted but unstoppable, one palace aide said. Behind him, Prince William steps in, not to take over, but to hold things steady. Their relationship has grown into something like a partnership of survival, father and son united by purpose, even as the crown feels heavier by the day. And while this quiet transfer of power unfolds, the royal family's other fractures widen. Prince Andrew's scandals still hang like a shadow. Harry and Meghan continue their separate path, branding their independence while using royal titles. The monarchy is trying to project stability, but inside, it's a delicate balancing act between image and truth, between public loyalty and private pain. King Charles's reign, short as it may be, has already become one of the most complex in modern royal history. It began with optimism, with ideas about a slimmed-down monarchy and renewed relevance. But illness doesn't respect plans. Now the man who waited a lifetime for the crown finds himself fighting to hold it, not out of pride, but out of principle. And as his health declines, Britain faces a future that's arriving faster than expected. No one is officially saying it, but power is moving, inch by inch, toward Prince William. The next era isn't waiting for the coronation. It's already unfolding, quietly, moment by moment. The monarchy at its core is about continuity, the idea that one reign flows into the next without pause. But this transition feels different. It's emotional, public, and painfully human. For centuries, kings and queens have been symbols, distant figures who never showed weakness. Now the world is watching a monarch fade in real time. And that's not just history, that's heartbreak. Still, Charles's resolve remains unshaken. Those who know him say he's determined to fulfill his oath, to serve his people, his nation, and his God, no matter how short that time may be. So as the whispers grow louder, one truth stands clear. This is not a story of abdication or retreat. It's the story of a man facing the end with the same strength that defined his mother's final days, grace under the weight of destiny. Because in the end, the British crown has never been about comfort. It sets about duty, and King Charles, frail or not, intends to wear that crown until his very last breath.